Today's how to build is on this beach house backdrop. So today's backdrop uses what's called force perspective to give an impression of a big range of things. So we've got those buildings that are going to be in the background, which are actually pretty small compared to the stuff that's in the foreground. And we'll have little people sitting under umbrellas that will give the impression, when you look at it from a certain angle, that things are far away when really they're all close together. They're just small. But for the base plate I'm using is from the Paradisa set Sand Dollar Cafe. This is from 1993. I'm lucky enough to have 2 of those base plates in my collection, and so what I did is I lined them up so that the yellow and blue areas from one to the next sort of continue, except they're different lengths. So then I used some of this blue plate that I had from a Belleville set that happens to be the exact same color to add in a little bit so that the line of water is unbroken. And over here, these are just 2 big blue base plates that I have connected with a little blue plate there. And then there's actually 3 different shades of blue here. There's a dark blue, there's this, I don't know, maybe a sky blue, then there's a little darker blue. So I even went so far as to try and match that up with a slightly different shade of blue plate to make the water line more continuous. There's also this gap in the sand line here. What I did is that I just covered that up with one of the beach blankets of the people with them who are on the beach. So I used these microfigs from the Lego games to look like people sitting on a beach. So their beach blankets are just 2x4 plates of various colors. They can just sit on that, or you can put animating putty on. And then their umbrellas are just colorful radar dishes, which I've stuck an antenna into. Got a bunch of those guys here. I'm just sort of sticking them along here randomly where I think makes sense. Do a couple back here. Oh, I've got 2 of the same umbrella, so we'll switch these. There we go. Now the umbrellas are better distributed. Get my last little microfig in there. So that's the 1 layer of depth, and then the next layer, the beach blankets go down to being a 2x3 plate. The umbrella goes down to being this 3x3 radar dish as opposed to the 4x4, which has a lightsaber blade piece that is tan stuck into it, into a cone. So it's slightly shorter and slightly smaller. And then I've got a 2x3 plate. So that goes like that. And instead of using a microfig on that, just got a cylinder that I'm putting down like it's a person as well. Then the next level beyond that, I just took the 2x2 radar dishes and put cones on the bottom of them. And then the beach blankets become 1x2 plates, and people can just be little dots. So just got a bunch of those, different colors. And then for the layer beyond that, I just made the umbrella be a single 1x1 round of, you know, a fancy color on top and then a white on the bottom for the umbrella stand. So that is, when you look at it this way, a bunch of beachgoers that fade off into the distance. But when you look at it this way, it's a weird amalgam of things sitting next to one another. That's why it's forced perspective, because you're forced to look at it from this direction in my animation. Now behind that, I have a series of tall skyscraper, hotel, casino, whatever you'd have along a beachfront building. This is just some 2x2 brick in this purple color. So the area that, fictional area Figuria that this is taking place in is the pastels, so everything has to be sort of pastel colored with the buildings. So I don't have a lot of pink brick. Most of this is actually 1x1 bricks that I got from Pick-a-Brick, but I do have some 2x2 bricks. So this top bit is 3 2x2 bricks tall, but mostly made up of 1x1 bricks. And then let's take this apart. This layer is again what would be 3 2x4 bricks tall, but most of it is 1x1 brick. Let me reconstruct that. Held together barely by some 2x2 bricks on top. So those two layers go like so. And then the bottom layer is basically, you know, an X. So it's a 2x4 with that. And that's 3 layers tall. I do have a 2x4 here, and I bet those are 2x2s, but the rest is just, again, filled in with 1x1 because don't have a lot of pink to go around. So that is sort of the main skyscraper here. This tan one, I used these pillowy bricks. So the whole thing is just 2x4 wide, and every other layer is these pillow bricks. And then the layers in between that are a pillow brick on the side and a 2x2 brick in the middle. Because it couldn't be, well, it could have been all pillow all the time, but it gives a little more texture by alternating between them. And as far as how to place the things, you just want to put the buildings so that you can, you know, see bits of each of the one that you made. This is some turquoise brick, 2x4s and 2x2s. I thought that fit well into pastel. This is some weird shade of purple that all I really had in it was these 2 hinge bricks. Again, this is from Belleville or Scala. So I put the hinges together and made it be a building with a little bump on the side. This yellow brick is from an old basic building set, but I thought it looked good. I took this color is called sand green. Obviously these pieces don't fit together, but I've just shoved some putty in between them and on the bottom so that they stick together and stand up when I go like this. And then this medium blue, I had this sort of wingy bit and put some 2x2 tile on that. There's 2 2x4 bricks here, 2 1x2 tiles, and I didn't have a 2x2 plate, so I filled in with 3 1x1 plates because I didn't even have 4 of those. And there you go. So then again, you pull back and looks like a happening resort city in the background. Or now when it's in focus, looks like a happening resort town in the background. So the next bit we're going to build is this big deck here. So the deck is just a big rectangle in white. It is 26 studs in that direction and 34 in this direction. And the way I put it together, switch to close focus again, these are all 2 wide bricks that I've lined up next to each other. So it actually sort of looks like the planks of a deck because there's lines that connect in different places all over, but it's all 2 wide brick going that way. And then on the bottom, I've put a layer of 2 wide going this way. Not a full layer, but just sort of filled in to connect as needed. Along each side, I've done a complete layer to close it off, and then I just put some 2x4s on the bottom of that layer, so the middle is only 2 plate tall, but the ends are 3 plate, so it sort of has a gap like that. And that means that the middle is squishy, so it'd actually be probably good to put some plate in the middle. But this is all a brick tall, but mostly it's just the top that is filled in with plate. Then I have a bunch of these fences. So if you don't have any of these fences, again, I think I got these mostly from Paradisa sets, you can build a replica pretty easily. Just need some headlight bricks and some 1x1 plates. So this is a headlight brick with a 1x1 plate on top of a headlight brick with a 1x1 plate. 2 of those and some 1x8 tile. And then stick the tiles on, and there, and blammo, it's basically the same. Cool thing you can do, the reason I know to do this is because at one point I believe Skullbot smashes one of the fences, and so the way I built that was that we built it out of bricks with 1x4 tiles so that it had more pieces to fall apart into. So you could, again, just do it with 1x4 tiles. If you line the fence up right, nobody will be able to tell the difference unless they smash it with a hammer. So once you've got the fences along this side, do one at each side, so one there and one there, leaving them a little area to walk out. And then start going along the other side with 4 of those fences. And should leave you a 2 area there, which is fine because it will be against the house, so you won't be able to really notice. So that is the deck. So now we're going to build the walls of the house. So the biggest feature of the walls is this window made of windows. Since the robots are at a much larger scale than the minifigures, to make a right-sized window for their house, I had to put together 4 minifig-sized windows. So, and of course the shutters have to be green because they're all going to be working for the Green Militia very soon. But this is a 1x6, a 1x3, and a 1x2. So this is 11 long and then 2 plates tall. So on the bottom it's a 4, a 4, and a 3. So you're going to want to build 3 of these 11 long, 2 tall plates for each of the big windows that you're making. So, and then you'll just want to have, in addition to that, 4 windows and 6 of these, which are 3 1x1 bricks together. So basically just put 3 columns, plug in a window, plug in another window, and of course the window should have shutters because that looks cool. Even though if you were to think about it, it doesn't really make sense for a window to have shutters that open like this, but that is why we keep them closed. Then do another 11 wide like that, more columns and windows, and another 11 wide plate on the top. And then again, if you need to do a second one for that side of the house. But now let's build this window into its wall. So this wall is 13 wide. That's a 6 and a 4, which is 10, plus a 3, and it's 2 thick, and it's 3 tall right here. Then we've got 8 tall 2x2 column, which is going to fit next to the window. And on top of that, again, this is 13 wide and 2 thick, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tall. So in total, this is 18 tall. And then this one, same idea, except it's much wider. So this is 4, 6, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25 wide. So 3 layers, then put the window here, and then this is going to be 14 for 8 layers next to the window. And then on top you go back to being 25, and it is for 7 layers. You can see if you look closely that some of my white brick is old and yellowed and scratched, but doesn't show up in the animation, so that's what I care about. So those are the walls. And now let's show how I built the sliding door. So this is a lot of windshields from cars, but across the bottom it is a 2x16 plate. Now this is 6 windshields stacked on top of one another. Gonna put that off there, one off the side. Do another layer of 6 windshields stacked on top of each other, because I have a lot of car windshields from back in the day. And in the middle, put 6 wide windshields and stack them on top of one another. Or you could fill this with whatever transparent pieces you have. I just happen to have a lot of windshields. And on top of that, we're going to do 2 windshields tall, starting from the middle. No, not starting from the middle. Going 1 off, put 4 in the center, and 1 off. And then I've got these columns of 1x1 studs, which is that's 12 tall. I got 2 of those that I stick on each side just to fill out the top of the door. Mostly, you could do it all with 6 wide windshields, but even I don't have enough to do that, which is why I got those 2 wides at the top. Then along the side, you need to do a big 1x2 column. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 16 tall. And do 2 of those on each, so 1 on each side. And then I've got a 1x16 brick here, which I'm lucky to have. If you don't, you can probably find a way to do it without. But I've got 2 1x8 tiles, so you could do a 1x4 brick in the middle, and then a 1x6 and a 1x6 on each side if you don't have a 1x16. So that goes across the top, and the back here gets 1x8 tiles again to connect the windshields to the side walls and make a smooth sliding surface for when we put this in the roof piece, which we'll build now. So the roof piece is very long. It is 48 studs long. Excuse me. So the roof piece is very long. It is 48 studs long. And then it is going to be 8 tall. I'm only showing you half of it right now. So these are all 45-degree slopes. So this is a 2x8 slope. I had a bunch of those from the Creator House with the red roof, and I've got some 2x4s and 2x3 slopes set in there. So this is just 4 layers to be 48 long. So build another 4 tall, 48 long roof brick triangle, but then fill in the bottom of it with brick. White brick all the way along, or whatever color brick you want. Then below that, we're going to do a layer of plate. So this is 4 long, so it leaves one empty layer right there. Do it all the way along. And then we're going to put some brick on. So over here, we're 8 from the side, doing a 2x2 brick. Then we've got a 1x16 brick and a 1x14 brick, which only come with the hole built in, but it doesn't matter, just as long as this all adds up. And I've done a 1x2 brick over here, so this could be a 1x12 and a 2x2 or whatever it is to fill this space, but you've got 8 over here again. Now you can put the other layer of the roof on, connecting so that the slopes are continuous all the way down. I think I might have done that backwards. No. Okay. And then put the wall segments on with the windows in them. So the small one goes on that side, and the big one goes on that side. And then the sliding door, which remember we had this top, fits in that little hole right there and can slide pretty much all the way over, so the door is not quite all the way over, but that was the best I could do without extending all the walls one length, which I didn't want to do. And I have it so that the nice, what I think is the nice side of the door is facing in, because I had the sitcom filming in there, and so I wanted them to see the nice side of the door. But you could always flip this brick and tile on top if you wanted this side to face out, depending on what you're building this for. But now we can sort of put all these bits together and make our scene. So on the bottom of the walls, I'm going to take some of these 16 by 16 base plates, stick them there. You'll notice that the door is 1 plate smaller than the walls, so it won't actually connect on to the base plates. It'll just ride on top of them. I tried putting a layer of tile there for it to slide on, but it just didn't slide very well. So I've put these base plates across the bottom just so it has something green to stand on. And you can't see what's going on right now because I've just got you looking at a base plate. But if we lift our house up now, tighten up the roof. There we go. So what we want to do is position the beach back and put the house next to that, and put the deck a little bit off the beach. So that when we look from this angle, looks like the house is sort of along the beach. Now what I've also done to help this area back here is I've put some palm trees together. Palm tree from, you know, any pirate or set that has a beach in it usually has a palm tree. And over here I've made a smaller palm tree because there are two types of palm leaves, so this is the smaller kind, on a base, another base plate to sit back there. So it looks like the palm trees are getting further away when really I just made a smaller one. And kind come back over here and we've got the beach scene from Robots, Robots, Robots. Now we can add on the deck chairs that you built the other day. So there's the table. Put the big deck chair next to that. Just put it at an angle there. And this one over here, you can sort of stick in that plate in between the studs. Though again, it's still a very fragile chair. And you've got some chairs, and you can throw your robots in there and have a beach party. Except, of course, you should have... Oh, goodness.